Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is very special to me because I'm going to be sharing the story of how I made my first million naira. So look at it here. A few people, right, which doesn't mean this is saying, oh, they want to make their first million naira this year. That's one of their goals. And I'm like, that's cool, it's possible, right? And I just felt led to like share how I made my first million naira at age 20 and how I just practically became a millionaire because after my first million naira, I kept making more millions and that was it. So I am going to take the storytelling approach to this video. So I'm going to be sharing the story of how I made my first millionaire instead of just sharing lessons I learned. I believe in sharing the stories. You could get something that you could relate to, and from there you could just implement it. And yeah, you be on your own journey, right? As I share the story, if there is like a particular point in and I feel like you should really look into, I will emphasize on it. So let us get right into it. So let's start from how did I even think of how did it even become a goal to make my first million naira? So apparently I didn't know it was a goal until 2022. One day I was in church and then my pastor was preaching and he was talking about Moses, how Moses, even before he encountered God, he had some goals because before he encountered God, he saw the Israelites being bullied and he killed an Egyptian for that sake. And when he encountered God, the same thing that he was passionate about when he had not encountered God was what God wanted him to still pursue when he encountered him. Right? It just stirred up something in my heart. Then a few weeks later, I was going through my past journal, and I saw go make my first million naira at 20. I think I wrote that stuff when I was like 16 or 15, right? Which brings me to this point. I lost my dad at a young age. I lost my dad when I was 12. And it was really a bit hard because so many things just happened. We literally went from like being normal, we were not poor. We went from being like average home to being poor. So I went into the university. I got into the university. So in my early years of being in the university, I didn't have an Android phone. I had like a Nokia touchlight. My Android phone then got spoiled. So I had a Nokia touchlight. So those period I was reading books, right? I learned reading books from my mom because when I was very little at some point I saw her reading a lot. So I was reading books. When I was traveling, I'll go at the park, I'll see them selling books and I'll buy books and I'll be reading books. So I read a couple of books, right? I read Rich Woman by the wife of Robert Kiyosaki. I read How to Win and Influence People. I read Dreaming Big. I read so many books. And in these books, like as you're reading, one thing with books, as you're reading books, you just get stirred to just have some desires. And then it's good to pin them down. I talk about journaling a lot, which is the point. Journal and expose your mind. So reading those books exposed my mind and gave me some of those goals that I wrote down in my journal then, or make my first millionaire at 20 and some other goals that I had at even 30 and all that I wrote down. So I saw that one, make my first millionaire at 20, and it just stirred up something in me. And that message I listened to just came to my mind. That was when that message came to my mind. In church, I didn't know that that message was something to me, right? But as I read that stuff, I'm like, you know what? Your pastor said, even before you encounter God, there's some things that in your heart that actually, even when you encounter God, He will start stirring you up to pursue. And I'm like, so this is possible. And I'm like, this is possible, and all right. So then I was doing a business. I was into real estate. I had already started real estate, and I was like selling from it little by little, right? So just to still back forward a little to help this story better. So before I started real estate, I did some other kind of businesses. I was already like earning little by little, right? I was already earning 10,000 naira, 5,000 naira. When I started real estate, I started earning 100,000 naira. There were so many skills that when I was like earning 10,000 naira, 5,000 naira from other businesses, it helped me when I started doing real estate. And it was real estate that gave me my first million naira. This brings me to the point of really, I see so many young people. They are mostly like, how will I? I don't know what to do. I have so many talent. I don't know what to do. I really want to focus on one. I really want to focus on one. Sitting down and saying I want to focus on one is not how you focus on one, or it's not how you know what exactly you're supposed to do. Mean. Actually, for starters, you can keep exploring some different options, right? You can keep exploring some different options. When I was in the university, I studied Oriflame. That was where I even learned some marketing tactics. Oh, because then they will give training on how to sell their product. I learned some marketing tactics. Oh, you can host classes on WhatsApp, you can host classes on group chats and all. And I was implementing those stuff in my real estate. I sold bags and shoes. Even when I was doing real estate, I sold bags and shoes. I made hair. I was doing home service because I could make hair. I'm like, okay, why not start making hair since I don't have some money, right? Because I mean, before having the goal of a million naira, ask yourself, like, have you started earning 10,000 naira? Have you started earning 100,000 naira? What can you do to earn 10,000, to earn 100? So I started like doing these skills and all. When I was making hair, doing home service, there was a time that I went on my Instagram channel, my business page then, and I sent a message to like different women in Abuja. I just browsed women in Abuja and I'll be seeing some pages that tagged, that put hashtag women in Abuja. And I'm like, okay, these people they live in Abuja. And I'll send a message, hi, my name is this, I make hair, I do home service, I can make you this one, that one. And I'll send videos of some hairs that I've made while I was in the like in the university, right? Because it was during holiday time, I was making those hairs for them in Abuja. I was just trying to meet ends, like trying to meet ends in the university. Because in the university, paying my school fees was hard. My mom already had like two boys she was training at home. She was sending me money or she was helping out, right? But I just know that this thing will be very, very heavy on her. So like I was making ends, trying to make ends meet. So how did I even get into real estate? Let's even get there. How did I even get into the work that gave me my first million naira? So I was making hair. I was trying to do Oriflame. I was selling some other stuffs. I was doing assignment for people. Yeah, in the university, I did assignment for people. I submit for guys because I studied civil engineering. I'm a graduate of civil engineering, practicing now. Yeah, so I was doing so many things. And then it was frustrating at some point, guys. Because it felt like from what to what, you make this money, you spend it on this one, and that one, next time you're looking for money. Guys, see, you at some point I just got frustrated and depressed. I didn't even really know what to do. At that point, I was so depressed, I almost attempted suicide. And I remember then one of my roommates reached out to me. She called me on phone and she said, ah, I saw you in a dream. They were bringing you out from the toilet. You were in the gym, they were bringing you out from the toilet and you were dead and it felt like you harmed yourself. You're the one that killed yourself. I was like, wow. Because a night before I committed suicide, I said, God, I really want you to tell me if you see me. Like, I really want to know if you really see me, right? Like, I was really asking questions. What's happening? Am I seeing? It was like I was in a dark hole, and all. I'll make a detailed video on this. But after that whole this thing of attempting suicide and seeing that, oh, God sees me, I just said, okay, God sees me. Let me just get to know God more. And I started getting to know God more, and yeah, listening to messages, Apostle Joshua Selman's messages. Then when I went back to school after Corona, the church my friend used to tell me to attend, and they used to force me to go to church. I'm like, now I think about it, they were forcing me to go to church. The church my friend Bube was then she used to tell me we'll go together once in a while. I started going to that church like actively because remember even during those times of suicide, it was the messages that I listened when I was in that church sometimes, when I go sometimes, that was ringing in my head, that was helping me not even in my life as soon as I could. Right. So I started going to that church when I went back to school and I started just discovering God more, discovering myself more and all. And I started discovering that I actually have a passion for real estate. I actually have a passion for finance, right? Finance and real estate and all. Then I had a boyfriend then that was into real estate. He was telling me, post this thing on your status now. If you have clients, I will sell for you and then I'll give you a cut. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I have a, like something for real estate. I have something for finance. And I started posting the property, the real estate property. And boom, not just posting the real estate property, I started sharing my insight on finance, on why investing was good. I knew the importance of real estate. I was sharing it. This is where the the place of sales, learning sales comes in. Like sales is an important skill that I feel like everybody should learn. So that stuff taught me sales, right? The whole books I was reading then, how to win and influence people, how to talk to people, reach that, poor that. It gave me a knowledge of sales. Then on social media, I was following some people. I just started increasing my knowledge on sales, right? I was following Coach Paul. Coach Paul was one of the people that I was really following, and some other real estate agents then. right, in Lagos. So I was following them up and I was seeing what they were doing. I was following the sales tactics. And this is one thing, right? Getting to know God more, getting to know God more and discover myself more, but just knowing God more, studying my Bible, listening to these messages, I started tapping into an uncommon wisdom. I'm not gonna lie to you. I started tapping into an uncommon wisdom where I could see somebody doing something, right? And I'm like, how are they doing this thing? I could just be understanding the wisdom. They're talking like this. So this person they are using storytelling. They're talking about the pain, and then they will now tell you that come and buy this stuff and all. I was learning uncommon wisdom. I had an uncommon wisdom that was helping me learn some things from people. So I started learning, right? And started using those tactics, right? So then in my status, I'll post on the things I know about real estate, why it is important, educating people on finance, real estate, why they should invest, and oh, boom, somebody come in, they wanted to buy a property I used to post then, and ha, boom, 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 they got the property. Property was in Ibeji, like they got the property. Mind you, I had never been to Lagos, but I was marketing property in Lagos because that wasn't just help me know, like, oh, about real estate, about the importance of real estate, even without seeing the locations, right? So I started like marketing these properties and oh, and somebody bought. That was how I made my first 100,000 naira. I was so happy. I was jumping. Like I am my mom because I was at home that period. Like I was jumping. Like God, my first 100,000. My mom was happy. I was so happy. Like thinking about it now, I feel like crying, right? Because God, like I was so happy. Like, do you know what it's like? You've been struggling, and finally, you're now doing something that you feel purposeful doing, and then like the breakthrough just comes, like that just approves of oh, this thing you're doing, like you're really on like the right path. And then my mom was just so happy. Like I have her daughter making first 100,000 naira. It was God is so good, right? God, I won't stay up. I will not stay up here. So from there, like I started marketing more, I started learning more, right? Increasing my knowledge, reading more books, um, some online free seminars. I started like just doing it and all, and it started helping me. Okay, this mic is still on, so it started helping me, right? So when I saw that journal about making my first millionaire at 20, it just like stirred up something in me, and I'm like, okay, I'm marketing this kind of property of like low income properties, right? That people can buy. How about I market higher? Because then I was marketing property of 3 million naira, 700K, 600K. But I could not market property of 10 million naira, 50 million naira. I just couldn't really. I just felt like I just couldn't, right? I just kept on playing it small. But this is one thing like working with God does for you, right? Just getting to know God more. At some point, when you start to get to know God more, you and Him just become close. I'll share a video on how I found my purpose later. So after I saw that thing on my journal, I just felt led. Why not market high other properties? Like I just said, I asked myself, I said, God, just help me. Do you want me to really chase this goal and of making 1 million naira before as I'm 20? Because I was 20 then, about to enter 21. This was like 4 months before I got to 21. I said, God, do you want me to chase this goal? And I felt like my spirit, like I felt like this joy, like okay, chase it and all. I believed for it. I started marketing a property, right? That was 12.5 million naira, right? It was a good property. With my knowledge on real estate, it was good property. So I started marketing it. I started going for inspection in that property, putting myself out there, going for inspection in that property, marketing it, and all posting and all of that stuff. And during those periods, some other things happened that I would really love to talk about, which was there was a time that I was led, right? God just led me to listen to a message, The Power of Altars by Apostle Selman. I listened to that message, Power of Altars. It was about building your prayer altar and breaking other altars working against you. And I prayed along with that message. And I just felt like there was something that happened. You know, things of the scripture, sometimes you don't have a full understanding. But there was something that happened, as if there was like a resistance to me crossing that threshold of making my first millionaire. And I felt like there was something that happened as I was praying. And that threshold, it just broke that threshold. I felt like there was a spiritual aspect to this. I know there was a spiritual aspect to it. Which brings me to other spiritual aspects, right? If you're faithful in little, you'll be increased more. So as I was making 10,000 naira, 100,000 naira. I was saving. I used to save. I used to use apps like Piggyvest. I used to use Colo, those wooden one. I used to use it then to save. Not just that, I was tithing. Even right from when we were little, if my dad gives us money, my mom will say, "Pay your 10%." We'll tithe. We'll pay, even if it's 10 naira, we'll pay our tithe. Get? I was tithing too. These are things that like you're in a covenant with God. There is something like covenant. Jacob said, God, as I'm going, protect me, do this one. And I promise I'll be giving you 10%. I'll give you 10% if you do all these things for me. There's something like you're in a relationship with somebody, right? Not like that will make God to God to take care of you as child, but there's this thing. So I used to pay my tithes. I was tithing. So that's how I kept on marketing that property, and boom, somebody said they wanted to buy into it and they bought it. And then real estate commission was 15%. Wait, I don't think it was 15%. I think it was 10%. 10%. Right. So 1.25 million naira. I think the next week somebody else said they wanted that same property. That was an extra 1.25 million naira. Right. And it kept on going. I started selling like other properties that could like give me millions of naira. That's how I just broke in. I just started making millions of naira and all. There were things that sustained it too, right? Which is the gift of people, relationships, right? Which is even one of the things that even helped me make it, because you need to know people. Like you need to know people, you need to respect people, you need to honor people and all. So that was it. So I'll just share like a few points. I hope I did not forget when sharing this story. The points that I wrote down before. So, okay, I said here, build your intellectual capital, read books. But then, read books, just calm down instead of chasing more. Calm down, like read books, understand, build your mind. I read The Richest Man in Babylon. I read like How to Influence People. Then, that's if I made this millionaire. How to Win and Influence People. That's a great book for people to read. Rich Woman, the Bible, read books, improve your knowledge, watch motivational videos, listen to messages. These were things that I knew worked for me, right? Practice the art of savings, no matter how little. Do that. Practice the art of savings. Now join a community that will help you know yourself better, know God better. See, in knowing God, you know yourself. In knowing God, you know the path you should follow. Sincerely, in knowing God, you know the path you should follow. I had people telling me do real estate, but I just didn't want to do real estate. I don't even know why, right? I didn't want to do it. But I knew a part of me knew I was passionate about it. So, but after I gave my life to Christ and started knowing God more, He started giving me more reasons. Oh, okay, this thing is along your path of purpose. So I do this thing. And I started doing it. And He started giving me ideas on how to get people to buy from me. He was the one giving me ideas. I tell people, if you know God, if you get into a relationship with Him, learn how to like start hearing Him more, knowing how to hear from Him more, and all. He will lead you in the best part of your life. Then, I mentioned here, just get close to God. Really, after I almost attempted suicide, even when I was hustling and all, and nothing, there was no fulfillment. Suicide, I'm like, nothing really matters because I almost died. Nobody knew. Nothing really matters. Let me get to know God. This God that sees me. Let me get to know Him. Here I said, practicing stillness. Yeah, when you begin to know God, you need to practice stillness to know Him more, right? Read your Bible, turn off your phone, just listen to messages. But it does not cut you off from life generally, but give Him your time more. One thing practicing stillness did for me, and it does for you, is that it helps your mind find the possibilities to the things you desire, right? When you're alone, like reading a book, listening to a message, and all, your mind just keeps ruminating on, the life I desire, how can I get there? And not just asking, how can I? Your mind will start giving you ways you can get there. I tell people, sit down, write things. If I made my first millionaire, I know there was a list of things I wrote. How can I make my first 100,000 naira? 100,000 naira. I wrote down like 20 things, right? Real estate, now making hair, doing POS, doing this, doing that. Practice stillness and write down things, right? And those things helped me. These were the possibilities that helped me then on how I made my first 10,000 naira, first 100,000 naira, first 1 million naira. And just to add, for some of you, right? For some people, it might not be your first 1 million naira you should be looking at now. It should be your first 100,000 naira. Yeah, it should be. Practice honor, tithe giving. I've mentioned that. Give to mentors, friends, give to the poor. Actually, it's very important. Then explore every talent, like I said. Then I could draw. I was even drawing. I started drawing. At some point, I'm like, okay, let me drop this one. I'm like, okay, I dropped it. Not dropping it and being hungry. Drop it. when I know that okay, there's another one I can do. So this stuff, right? Find a place to save. Find a place to save. Like I see young people. I'll in my next video on how I found my purpose, really watch that video in details because finding my purpose led me to real estate. And some small view, it's not real estate. There's something that you start doing now. Money will keep pouring in. Like you will not force yourself to do it. You'll be so passionate about it. You just need to know the right direction of your life. Really, you just need to know. In the next video, I'll be sharing on finding your purpose. Watch it from beginning to the end. Share it to those people in university, those that you need, that they need to watch it. Really. Then find a place to save. Right? In finding a place to save, I just started knowing the skills that came naturally to me, easy to me. Yeah, get mentors, get role models. When I started real estate, I said, okay, who are the people that are doing this real estate very well? I started following them on Instagram. I even reached out to some. I said, oh, please, I'm into real estate. Can you mentor me on how to do this, on how to sell better? And I did not start waiting for them to be calling me all the time. No. But I now started following them closely. They gave me access. Some gave me their WhatsApp number. I started watching their status, watching their Instagram listing, supporting them. And from there, I started learning some skills. So, that's actually all, right? I hope I hope the Lord ministers to you, or your spirit, soul, and body minister to you while you are watching this video. And yeah, you can actually do it, right? You can actually like get where you need to get to. Yeah, God can lead you there. I'm telling you the truth. He can lead you there to anything you want. So please, I beg you, please do me a favor, share this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And don't just end there. Can you comment and like? All these things help my channel grow better. All these things help my channel grow better. And you can also comment the topics that I mentioned in this video I'm going to share later. You can add them in the comment section so I don't forget, right? And any other topic you want me to talk about. See you next time.